Okay. Oh, I think this is going to be a good one. If you haven't put it together by the title of the video and by the thumbnail, we got a snazzy device for you today. This is the MD1 laser engraver cutter. Do everything you want like at home station made by XTOOL. And this one just so happens to be in golden red. Now, if you guys are like me, you've probably seen or heard about these things before. You know, scouring YouTube or Facebook or whatever, you've probably seen the existence of these at-home laser systems. And also, like me, I bet you thought that that was for high-to-do, fancy at-home games and, you know, well out of the reach of the average fellow. Well, let me tell you, the game has changed because XTOOL has made something like this within the grasp of the average person. You don't have to be Bill Gates to afford one of these things at your house. You can actually do this yourself and not have to refinance your house. Now, don't get me wrong, these things are pricey, but any good tool is worth its price tag. So like anything else, it just comes down to what you think it's worth for what you're doing. But let me tell you, I couldn't be more excited to get into this thing and see what all it can do. So enough jaw-jacking. Let's get into this thing and see what it's all about. Alrighty guys, so we're over here at the operating table. If you can tell here, she is brand new, sealed in the package. We have yet to open this thing. We're gonna do this together for the first time so you can get my genuine reaction. And we can kind of do this together as an experiment and just see how this thing works. And wow, talk about presentation. You guys see that? That's nice. Custom fit foam insulation you're riding in there, cowboy. Now, I'm guessing these are different manuals and yeah, it's just a bunch of books in there. I'm guessing this is what'll tell you how to like download the programming and stuff on your PC. But yeah, that's nice. Whew. Man, all anodized aluminum. Looks like this is extruded aluminum, not billet. Well, like I said before, this is affordable. If we were to get this thing billet, yeah, Bill Gates might even be having an issue getting this thing. Oh, look, we got a servo motor driving a belt here. Looks like there's an encoder. This is a nice cog timing belt. This is very similar to a 3D printer if you guys have ever dealt with the XYZ 3D printer. This is kind of along the same line here. It's just you're utilizing a laser instead of an extruder head. Man, look at all this. Some more extruded aluminum here. Looks like we have an antenna here. Possibly Wi-Fi or maybe an app on your phone, some kind of communication. Lots more hardware. Look, this looks like it's to be the brains of the operation here. Another servo motor for a different axis. We might actually have to break out the book and see how this thing's supposed to go together. Digging down in here more. Got a power cord. Regular 120 60 hertz residential for North America. Oh, this appears to be the opposite side to this one here. It just has a drive bar. And then this is the opposite side to that one. Yeah. This is just the other side of that same axis. Everything's really nice. I mean, presentation, fit and finish quality. Bravo, XTOOL. Now, what do we got here? If I was a betting man, I'm saying that the laser head is in here. Oh. Oh no, look. They supplied us with some PPE here. Because we're dealing with a harmful spectrum of light. Look at that. Nice little case. Man, they do not skimp on the packaging. This is really, this is a pleasurable user experience. Okay, welcome back 1985. That's nice, but at least we got something. It was supplied for us, and there's even a little terry cloth in there. What else do we got in here? Some supplied zip ties. Oh, look. Little toolkit. Looks like almost everything we're going to need to put it together. Look, there's a micro SD card in here. Even some spare parts. Here's a drive shaft union. Looks to be like an air fitting coupler or something. And some spare hardware. Man, this is nice. Well, there's that. So this must be the head. Wow, look at that. Model MD1 Pro L10. Wavelength 455 plus or minus 5. Light path, focused beam. Input voltage 24 volt DC at 1.8 amp. Yeah. Output power 10 watts. That's more power. Golly. Well, I guess we're going to have to figure out what the heck that thing is. Oh, it's got an internal cooling fan. It's got some nice fins inside of there, inside of this aluminum. Again, with the nice anodized red. Wow, this thing is nice. It's going to be really difficult not to tear this thing apart to see what the guts look like, but honestly, I need to make sure that it does its thing first. So I guess now that we've kind of done like a part inventory, next step, let's start throwing it together and see how bad that goes. Well, guys, what do you think about that? I mean, I know it was a quick run through there on the time lapse, but you saw it wasn't really all that involved. I mean, a couple nuts and bolts and screws and zigging and zagging. I promise, it's really not all that involved. There is a nice instruction manual that it comes with. It's just like pictures, you know, for those of us that don't do all those words too good. It's nice. It's just a quick little tutorial on how to do everything from start to finish. And if for whatever reason you have an issue with that, there's even QR codes in here where you can just download this onto your phone, or it pops up an instructional video of how to put it together. So I promise that's the least of your worries. Getting this thing together is not difficult at all. Let's take a better look at it. Okay guys, now that we have the install complete, we need to get to the software part of this. And I promise you, it's not that bad. I mean, if I can figure it out, you're fine, trust me. Now, this handy booklet that it comes with here, it really does walk this out like word for word. This particular one, because XTOOL makes multiple ones, this model is the D1 Pro. And the software it takes to run this thing from your PC or Mac, that's the cool thing, it runs on either. This particular one is a Mac, so obviously you know it's accessible and available for any operating system that you want. But it says here, right at the end of building the thing, this gives you a little congratulatory note for doing it correctly, and then it tells you flat out, if you have these models, this is the program you need. If you have these models, like this one, this is the program you need. So it gives you the links and everything, again, QR codes, so it's easy to get to, that this one takes this Lightburn technology app. So you go on to whatever browser you're using and download the appropriate program. Not difficult at all. It took 30 seconds to download this thing. And if you guys are familiar with the Cricut at all, like have you seen that thing? It looks like a Singer sewing machine, but it's got a little cutter in there. You can put a marker in it. It operates very similarly. So if you are used to that thing, this should be easy as pie. But once you get the operating program downloaded onto your PC, then you have to go onto their website, to XTOOL's website, and then it prompts you what to do. It's super easy, just follow the list. So you go onto their website, and this thing shows up on there. So you download the version of what this thing is, so you can plug that in to the laser program so they can communicate properly. I know it sounds like this is a lot, but really it's not. Once you tell the computer and the program the laser that you're using, it just bada bing. That's all there is to it, really. I'll bring you guys in so you can kind of better see what I'm talking about. Now you guys, please excuse my lack of technical knowledge here. I don't know how to screen mirror my computer right onto the video, so you're just gonna have to kind of deal with this, but at least you're close enough you can see what's going on. So you see up here in the top in the browser where it's support.xtool.com, which this is where the down to the letter prompts are that tell you how to do everything. So it tells you right here, download and install the Lightburn program. Easy as can be. There's the link, bada bing. Then right below that, this is the link that you need to download onto your computer to tell Lightburn what laser you are using. So once you have both of these downloaded, easy as pie. Then we go to the Lightburn program, and down here where it says devices, this is where that file pops up. So it shows us that, hey, we have the XTOOL D1 Pro. Awesome. You just select that and tell it OK. Now the program knows what laser we have and everything is good to go. Like I said, it's really not all that involved. I mean, you're going to tinker with this thing for 10-15 minutes. It's really not that bad. And as far as the program goes, like I said, it's very similar to the Cricut. I mean, there are differences. Obviously, it's a different program and you're going to need to learn how to use it. But really, out of the gate, it's not that difficult. If you've never seen this before, you can figure it out. Trust me, I did. So on the top here, this is where you control the majority of the physical properties of the laser. Like up here, you can choose the speed of the laser head in millimeters per second. Right now I have it at 125. I think it comes factory at 100. And the power of the laser, I believe this comes set factory at 20%. I jacked it up to 50. But that being said, over here you see pass count. That means that whatever you're trying to cut or engrave, like we just so happen to have a Dan's Pro Shop logo in here. How convenient is that? You can choose more than one pass. So that means whenever the laser is going over your program, how many times you want it to go over the same thing. So you can darken the image or you can cut deeper into whatever material you're doing. But I found that this is pretty much your main dashboard. These are the parameters that you're going to need to control. And then down here, this just kind of operates the program. So this frame right here, this is an important one. Whenever you choose something in the cutting field here, whenever you click frame, that will run the laser head over your material so you can see physically where that's going to be on the material versus what you're seeing on the screen. This frame just simply takes a different path. It's a little more to the point. It's not so jaggedy, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. This takes the path of least resistance and it will cut corners and do everything more quickly. Up here is pretty self-explanatory. Pause, stop, and start. That's just what you want to do with your program. If something happens or your material moves or whatever and you need to stop or pause the program in the middle of it running, that's what you can do right here. And then this one right here, home, and go to origin. This origin point, you can select what origin point you want on the machine. Here, you have a little grid where you can choose where the origin is, and it's totally up to you wherever you want to put it. It's application specific, whatever you want to do. It's very user friendly. And the home button, that simply takes the laser head all the way to the left and all the way up, so it gets out of the way of your material, whatever you need to do. So usually, whenever you're done with a program, when it's done cutting, done etching, whatever you're doing, the laser head will stop in its original position at the top left of whatever you're doing. Then simply click the home button and it will go back to that corner and get out of your way. Now let's look at the laser and see some of this stuff work in real time. And guys, as far as hooking this up and everything, super straightforward. This just connects to your PC with a USB cord. I mean, if you have a Mac, obviously you're going to need to get that adapter from USB-A to USB-C. But let's be honest, if you have a Mac, you probably have one of those anyway. Not that big of a deal. And then it takes the power cord that we talked about before. Nothing new there. And then there's simply a power switch on the side of the front module here. And you have a nice LED indicator here on top that lets you know that this unit is powered up. Not to mention you get the crosshairs underneath your laser head so you can better depict where this thing is going to be. Now, like I described before, this frame thing, that will literally frame out the area of where your job is going to be done on the material. Let's do that and see what the laser head does. Okay, I moved you guys so you can get a little better bird's eye view of what's happening here. Remember I told you about the home button. If you find yourself in a position like this where you need the head to go home, you simply click home and it will go back to the top left hand corner. So that gives you all this egress to get your material out of here. Now I'm going to show you about putting a program in the cutting field here, so then we can do the frame thing. So this operates a lot like the Cricut, like I've been saying, but also it's kind of intuitive, just like paint would be. Over here you have your basic shapes, letters, you can draw lines, whatever you want to do. If you want to import a photo or something into this, you simply just go up to the top taskbar here, you click on import. You go to wherever you want to go, you find the stuff that you want to do, like right here, Dan's Pro Shop logo. Let's open that up. Now, well, somebody's got a motorcycle. Sorry about that, guys. But we're in the garage, you're going to get that. So, now I have this in my cutting field. And up here, you're able to change the size of this thing. So I know roughly I want this to be about 100 mil square. So you simply just use this to scale up or scale down your image. It really is that user friendly. So let's just take this down to roughly about 100 mil. And I'll take you guys back over to the laser so you can see the frame and how this thing actually maps out what we're going to do. So now that I have an image in my working area, I hit the frame button and the laser will go to where the work is actually going to be performed. And you can use that crosshair that shines down on the table to optimize and visually see where everything is going to go. Now let's throw some stock in here that's actually provided by XTOOL. You guys remember at the beginning of the video, there were these nice little packets in the top of the box. Well, one of them was full of the paperwork in that booklet I just showed you. And they give you some cool stuff just to play with. You get a nice sheet of aluminum, a piece of cork, a couple pieces of plywood, and just some other random materials that you can play with to learn how to use this thing. So we are going to use this little piece of wood that it came with. And one of the most important things that we need to do about this setup is there's that silver claw thing on the side of the head. We need to set the depth of this laser to get everything optimized. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about with that. So on the side of the laser head here, there's this metal piece that pops down. This is your depth gauge for your material. So no matter what you have on this thing, you can move the head up and down to get that correct distance for the laser. So you simply put the material underneath the head that you're wanting to do, and then you release the jam nut and go down until that pin touches your material, and then tighten the Z position of the head. Just reach underneath, flip that thing up out of the way, and now we are all good to go. We know we have our depth set, and then we can do the frame to figure out where it's going to be on the material. Simply just go over here to our dashboard where we control everything and hit frame. And this tells us where our photo or our etching is going to be. And then you just adjust it as you want, you know. Do whatever you need to do, move it around, whatever. This is all up to you, and you're just going to optimize whatever you're trying to cut. There you go. That's roughly about center. Now the last thing we have to do is send it. You just simply hit start the program and it'll do it. But like I said at the beginning, up here you can change the speed of this and the intensity of the laser. So that depends on what material you're using. So obviously wood or paper or something soft like that, you can go faster with a lower intensity laser. But if you're doing harder stuff like metal, aluminum, whatever, you would want to go slower with a higher intensity laser. This being wood, I mean, it's a happy medium. We can go a little fast and we can go a little hard. So I'm going to set this up to roughly 125 on the speed, 125 millimeters a second. And I'm going to put the power at about 80. So you guys will see what that result is. All right, guys, get your glasses on because here it comes. Now you guys are watching this in real time. I mean, by all means, feel free to fast forward through this part if you'd like to. But I want to give you the sense of what to expect doing this in real life. So let's just watch this thing do its thing. Man, oh man, how freaking awesome is that? Now that our print, so to say, etch, whatever you want, is complete, we're going to hit that home button on the control dashboard there to send the laser back home so we can get in here and get our project. So we'll just hit the home, get this thing the heck out of the way, and check out our completed project. How awesome is that? Look at the level of detail in this thing. It is unreal how amazingly detailed and accurate this thing is. I can't tell you how awesome this is. I love the smell of burning wood in the morning. Boy, oh boy. How cool is that? Hey, hold on, let me lose 1985 here. But how awesome is that, man? And I don't know if you guys saw the smoke pouring off this thing in the video. I don't know if it does it justice, but bear in mind, whenever you're doing this, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area because she does put off some smoke, especially if you're doing wood. But man, I cannot tell you how cool this thing is, not to mention how user-friendly. Like I've said before, I am not the most computer literate person in the world, but I figured this out in a matter of 20 minutes. I mean, it's really cool how easy and user-friendly this is. I mean, you just simply pick a file, put it in there, choose the size, and that's it, man. You're etching. So guys, when it's all said and done, how freaking awesome is this? The D1 Pro from XTOOL. Now, I have to come clean with you guys. XTOOL reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in reviewing this thing. Like, yeah, of course. Because like I mentioned, the only limit to this thing is you. It's limitless applications for this thing. I mean, heck, don't worry about making Christmas gifts anymore or going out and buying them because you can make them. Just something simple. Like you can get these little sheets of aluminum on Amazon for pennies. You can print out personalized photos, give them to mom, give them to the sister-in-law, whatever. Think of how cool this is. You can literally do anything that you want to do. Naturally, within physical parameters here, but if you have a broad mind, you can get a lot done with this thing. So seriously, if you guys are interested in this thing, please check out the links in the description. Head on over to xtool.com. And like I said, this is one of many options that they have available. This is just one of their newer, fancier ones because of the capabilities and adjustability of it. So honestly, check these guys out if you want to get something like this for yourself. And we will see you next time.